guys! So today I'm starting another series of videos that I want to make, and this is kind of more about the actual menstrual cycle / the different phases and making the most out of the phases. Some of you may or may not know you actually have 4 different phases to your menstrual cycle. It is not just the period. That is not the only thing to do when you think of menstrual cycle, and that's what a lot of people think of, and I know that's what I thought of. But there's actually 4 different phases, and your period is actually phase number 1, not phase number 4. But we'll get into that. It's the beginning of your cycle, not end, is what I'm trying to say. So when women take hormonal birth control, they cut out their menstrual cycle. They don't have a cycle, they don't have a real period, it's a fake bleed. And by doing this, they're missing out on a lot of great things. But they do this so they can miss out on the lows of having a menstrual cycle. And by doing this, they may be missing out on the quote-unquote negative things, but they're also missing out on the really great highs of having a menstrual cycle too. So instead of being on like that super awesome roller coaster at the amusement park, these women are on the like boring little train that like putts around the perimeter, and it's not very exciting. Some women can just be uncomfortable or scared of the up and downs, or the lows and highs, however you want to put it, of a menstrual cycle, and so they'd rather just kind of be mediocre, in the middle, baseline, not have the lows but not have the highs either. And this may work for them, this may work for you, and that may be great, but you're missing out on all of the great highs by being scared of the lows. And the lows actually aren't even that bad. They're not even that negative. There's actually positives to these quote-unquote low points or down points of your menstrual cycle. Today I'm going to start with the ovulation phase, since that's where I'm at right now, and so it just seems fitting. This can also be known as the expressive phase of your menstrual cycle. First, I'm just going to give a quick little summary of what's happening during this phase, and then I'll go into what everything means, what you're feeling, what you're good at, what you're not good at. While ovulation is actually only a moment in your menstrual cycle, it's given itself an entire phase a couple days before and a couple days after. At this point in your cycle, your pituitary gland sends a signal down into the ovary that has been growing the egg for the month to release it. And once it is released, some may feel this little pain in their side, kind of like a cramp, and it's called Milchschmerz. Not everyone feels it. It's not, if you feel a pain in your side, that's not like it's not a good sign to say, oh, I've ovulated, but it's just like a fun little extra. So the egg is released and it's guided into the fallopian tube by small finger-like projections on the outside called fimbria, and I like to think of them like waving and being like, come hither, egg, come hither. And from there it is guided into your fallopian tube, where it starts to travel its way down towards your uterus, and if there are sperm present to fertilize the egg, then it becomes fertilized. They join into one new cell, and on their journey down into the uterus, they multiply and divide into about 100 cells by the time it gets under uterus. And from there, it implants itself into the warm, cushiony lining of your uterus, where it grows into a baby. If there are no sperm present, the egg travels its ways down, and it lives for about, we'll say, 24 hours, and around 24 hours. And if there's no sperm present to fertilize it, then it kind of disintegrates, joins with some of the blood, and eventually is released from your uterus and your vagina through your period. I remember when I was younger, I always wondered if you could see the egg when it came out of you. Not quite like a chicken, but I just wondered if it was big enough for you to see. And a fun fact is your egg, a matured egg, is about the size of a pencil dot. So it's really not that big, and you probably won't see it. Now on to what we're feeling during this phase, what we're good at, what we're not good at. During this phase, we feel happy, we feel creative, we feel confident, we feel loving, we feel giving. We feel very in tune with ourselves and our more emotional side. This is a really good time to reach out and to express yourself to those around you. The personal goals and desires that we felt in the previous phase kind of give way to this more altruistic side of ourselves, and we care more for the needs of others. It's a really good time just to allow yourself to step back, let things kind of go with the flow, and watch how they develop. During this phase, we're less sensitive to people's criticism, and so we can have a greater understanding of their emotions and thoughts behind where they're coming from with what they're saying to you. Because we're so emotionally connected at this point, it's a great time to get out into the world, make connections, connect to people that you think can support you in your future success. This is a really good time to support projects and people, whether that be personal or at work, through heartfelt meetings, compromising, negotiating, and networking. It's a really good time to get what you want, if you will, because you have the awareness and the patience to gently persuade people. Sell yourself, sell your work, sell your product or service or whatever it may be. It's a really good time to just go out and be, hey, this is me. So we feel a lot of personal gratitude at this time. We're very grateful for what we have, who we are, the things around us. This feeling of personal gratitude makes us want to give to others, to share the love, and it's kind of important to remember that personal fulfillment comes not only from our own happiness, but the ability to share with others. It's also a really good time to work on your personal self-esteem and your confidence, because we can get so busy with our to-do list and what we need to do next, and we have all these things we need to do that we rush through them, get them all done, but we don't allow ourselves the time to kind of step back and enjoy the feelings of success of actually accomplishing something. Letting yourself emotionally enjoy your successes, whether they be small, whether they be big, it doesn't matter. You've done something, you've worked really hard to get there, and this is a really important thing to growing our self-confidence. So allowing yourself those little moments to step back and be like, yeah, right, I did that. It just helps just build your self-confidence. If we don't allow ourselves those positive emotions surrounding success, then we can start looking to other people or external experiences to generate this feeling of self-worth. Our abilities during this phase: creating connections and supportive relationships, effective communication and people skills. You're flexible, able to compromise. You have a real enjoyment of life, happiness, and playfulness. It's a good time to persuade, guide, lead, or teach. Feel and express gratitude and appreciation. You're generous and giving, allowing yourself the ability to feel successful, and the ability to accept people and situations as they are. What doesn't work during this phase is expecting that go-getting, aggressive, dynamic attitude that you experienced in the previous phase. A few things you guys should watch out for during this phase: your self-worth being dependent on how you think others view you and how they react to you. Thinking that your lack of motivation during this phase is because of a lack of interest or commitment. Now for some strategies during this phase. Physical strategies, including go to different events, different classes, meet people, make connections, get out into nature. I always forget how good a little bit of green can do for me because I live in the city, and just simply going to a park does so much good for my soul. Physically touch people, give people hugs, but only when it's appropriate. Remember to exercise, walk, run, dance, have fun with your body, just be active. Now for some emotional strategies. Have heart-to-heart conversations with the people around you. Don't be afraid to bring up touchy subjects with those around you concerning things that have been bothering you that month but you haven't been able to talk about before. Get out there and do some charity work. Volunteer for something that you're interested in or passionate about. Make a list of your everyday successes and take the time to enjoy them. And write down a list of gratitudes as well. Strategies for at work. Create a campaign to sell yourself. Maybe this is building a personal website or sharing some of your successes on social media. Contact people you think can help you, whether it be problem solving or with a project. And finally, goal fulfillment. Target people that you think can help you reach your goal. Don't be afraid to ask people for input on your ideas. Ask for face-to-face meetings because this is going to be your best way of communication. Practice presenting yourself to people. Create a 17-second introduction for yourself. And finally, evaluate the positive impact that achieving your goals will have on others. Okay guys, that's all I have for the expressive phase or the ovulation phase, whatever you want to call it. And until the next phase, I'll see you guys. Bye.